Hey guys, sorry about that. What's good? All right. Mm, sorry I'm a little late. Duty's call. You know how it goes. How you guys doing? Welcome in. Connor, Diana, Jason, Robert Wiles, I see you. What's up, Jeremy? Chella C, hello, hello. Eric Winslow, hello, hello. Asmo, my butt reeks. Oh, we got a raise. Congrats. Duties. I know, I know. DJ Rockford, hello, hello. Not duty. Like, I'm not even gonna. No. Lord of the Ree, hello. V6, Ryan Hittard, the Rumble crew. What is going on, everybody? Yeah, I haven't seen you, my butt. Reeks, I can't really shorten your name because then I. Anyway. How you guys doing today? We had a wonderful day so far. I hope so. I fell asleep and I woke up like 15 minutes before my show started. My sleep schedule has been so out of whack. I haven't slept for more than, I don't know, 3.5 hours at a time because it's so, yeah, I don't know. Got to get those naps in. Yeah, we were all sitting on the couch and Vincent was falling asleep and I'm like, oh, he's falling asleep. So I kind of kind of, got under the blanket with Niche, and I just freaking passed out. And I woke up 15 minutes before my show. I was like, "Oh wow." She was gone. Vincent was gone. they're they're in the bedroom sleeping. It's like she got up and just like let me sleep. Winters have been brutal. Yeah, it's freaking so dark here. And the problem is, you know, it's not even light during the day. My almost 1-year old is teething, no more than 2 hours asleep for me. Oh my gosh, that sucks. I don't want that. No. It was 44 here today. It felt like summer. Man, 44 sounds nice. It's actually been relatively warm here. Mhm. Yeah, he turns 6 months in, I don't know, 3 days? Yeah. So or 2 days. In 2 days, he'll be 6 months old. No teeth yet. I can feel him though, and his bottom, these 2, the bottom 2, like, I can feel them there. Like, it's starting to get hard. Oh, you're up in Finland? Oh, wow. So you got even more time. What's warm for you? 32? No, 32 sucks. I mean, on average, I'd say the winter time is about 32 degrees. It doesn't it, and I think it's because of my river, because the river is constantly flowing, so it's maintains that 32 degrees, right? Short Bus Dave, a name I haven't heard or seen in a long time. How are you, sir? For 5 says, "Hey Adam, great news. I'm going to be a teacher. Our district is hurting for substitute teachers, so I got all my certificates and BA history. I'm stoked." Good shit, man. Awesome. Good to see you. It's good to know you're doing well. 6 months already? I know. It's insane. I think about it too, like, he really he really is a different person from when he was born, like, very slug-like when they're babies to now 6 months. He's talking a lot. He's he's moving a lot, and he's starting to really grab things. Like, I have, this little link. He loves this little thing, but he can't, like, can't pick things up yet with his fingers. He's gotta do the full grab, so he has an issue picking some things up. Based teacher? I know, we need more people like, Short Bus Dave, or David, as he went by for a little while for some reason. I call the early stage potato babies. You're not the only one. Nisha did the same. Called him a little potato. Baby is all palms. Yeah, basically. Make kids think creative again. Well, that's just not letting them sit in front of a TV. I straight up think that's it. Don't raise them with television and you should be fine. It's more exhausting because you have to actually be their entertainment. I find that it's much more exhausting to because when it's my turn, I can't sit him in front of a TV. I have to play with him and I have to engage him and I do that. And I play guitar, I play piano. It actually forces me off out of my comfort zone to then do things that I think he would enjoy and I enjoy, right? So once he gets older, then I can start doing like I can't wait for him to play with Legos. Oh man, I can't wait for that. Oh, being able to play Legos with him or Connects. I had Connects as a kid. Anyone remember Connects? Or wait, what was the other one? Erector set. Yeah, the metal toys. Yeah, I had some erector sets. I don't know if they're still a thing anymore. You guys remember do you know the erector set? Hmm. Wow. They go way back to the 60s? Wow. A complete vintage set is $1,500? What? Oh, what? Holy shit. Crazy. I didn't have this old of a set. Mine was from, like, the '90s. Lincoln Logs? I had a set of Lincoln Logs. They were actually at my grandparents' house. So I played with those. Peyton Johnson for 5 says, "You say that now until you step on one of those bastards barefoot." Well, I don't I don't think I'll mind because I had Legos and I stepped on them myself. So I kinda know how to step on Legos. You kinda you never watched Sandlot? I have, but it's been a long time. I don't remember Sandlot. Yeah. I used to have jacks until dad stepped on one. Oh, yeah. Those are like the caltrops with the bouncy ball, right? You bounce the ball and pick up as many as you can. The big baby ones hurt less. Yeah, I actually 3D printed a couple. I don't know if it's technically, copyright infringement, but, it's a free file and I have a bunch of them. So Peyton Johnson for 5 says, "Like I said, you say that now until you step on one of those bastards barefoot." Yeah. You're right. I know. It's true. I just wanna know if my Legos still exist, because I know I had the one thing that I know that I would love to have, I had this white Lego boat. It was about this big, and it was like a cruise ship or something, and it was just a white boat that had a Lego top, and I would build the most epic spaceships out of this thing, or, attack boats or whatnot. Lawn darts? Yeah, I wanna do a lot with my lawn, because right now I'm nervous that he's gonna hit a rock. There's a lot I live in an area, the place where I'm living, there's stones everywhere. Adam, are Legos cheaper where you are being near Denmark? I don't know. I don't think so. I think everything's kind of, about the same, really. Certain things I can't get here that exist in the States, but, I should get a sandbox for him. Yeah, I do. The turtle, isn't there a Lego airport? Really? I is there? I don't know. I know, like, the Lego museum is over here in Denmark. Cardboard brick blocks. Well, it's funny, we got a big one of the diapers that came, it was a box of diapers, but it came inside of a massive box. So I was excited. I thought it was the baby jumper thing that, Ashley Hayden got for him. Can't wait for that to arrive because I'm excited to see if he, will enjoy that. 115 people watching, only 50 likes. Let's go. Smash it. Greasus is onto something. What are you guys waiting for? Can you smash that like button for me? I mean, it's free. All you gotta do is just it's one click of a button, or a tap of a finger. I don't know. You might be watching on mobile. You should try to buy the '90s Night Lego set. Well, his uncle has a ridiculous amount of Legos, so I'm banking on him maybe giving him some of those. There's this little Lego store that we found actually north of us. last time we drove up to Stockholm, which was, in the summertime? Yeah, it was like July or something. We drove up there and it was beautiful, and one of these in this little beautiful town where that had this river that, like, went right through it. It was more of a canal, right? But it was beautiful, bike paths everywhere, but we found a Lego store that was just like, I don't know, pure it was not from Lego, it was just like a small town shop that the person just dedicated to Legos, and they had these bins that had you could just have bulk Lego stuff. So, one day when he finally likes Legos and wants to play with Legos, we're gonna go there and we're gonna get him, like, a lot. Best gift you can get your kids is a savings account and a pension? Noted. What about a fort or a treehouse? Well, see, Connor, my forest here, I mentioned the boulders and the rocks that are around here. They, I actually didn't even finish that statement. Um, I'm gonna finish it. There's rocks all over my yard that are sticking up, and I wanna get rid of those so that he doesn't risk falling on them. But there's all these giant boulders in my forest that would make for, like, an epic fort. Like, building one underneath, like, the edge of one or building something on top of a boulder. There's a few dope spots that I should document and show you guys because 'cause they're really cool. We got 69 likes, nice. Come on, let's get some more likes. Come on. Let's get it to 100. I think we can do it. And I don't even know how many likes are on Rumble because Rumble never it isn't capable of updating, the likes count while you're watching it for some reason. V6 Neon for one says America copied the construction set kits. It started with, Meccano. Wait, isn't it the same? Erector by Meccano. Oh, this is an erector set. Oh, okay. I see. Meccano is a brand of construction set created in 1898. Wow. Okay. By Frank Hornby in Liverpool, England. Okay, so Meccano is the OG. I mean, it seems like they're still making it, like, because here's a newish one. Visit the Meccano store. Yeah, so, like, this one's kinda cool. It's got yeah, man, that just seeing that, I can smell that box. Like, I know what this box smells like. Is that weird? You guys know what I'm talking about. People who played with that, they know what that smell is. Jose Contreras, for one, says, look into the Gilbert U 238 Atomic Energy Lab in the 50s. I know about this. The toys that came with uranium. Nothing beats loving to read for your kid. It helps the brain and instruments. Yeah. Yeah, except it was actually radioactive. Phrasing, I can smell this box. I know. You're right. I should. It doesn't matter. Who knows? So is Meccano better than Lego? Well, no. Meccano is, I think, the next step because Lego, you can do a lot with Lego. People do some crazy cool things with Lego, but this is a little more uh probably not good for the kitty brain. Oh, the plastic smell? Who knows? I just find it funny looking at these videos of these I don't know, what are they like not the easy bake oven, but the like create weird jelly spiders and how chemically they were, but like I remember my sister had one of those. I think she had the easy bake oven also, my older sister. My dad let me use the tools in his shed for from quite a young age. See, I love that. I love that, right? I wanna teach my kid how to do stuff. Aren't Lincoln Logs the oldest construction toys? I I have no idea. Let me see. Lincoln Logs. I guess not. Lincoln Logs says, 1916, and according to V6, the Meccano is from 1898, so I guess not. It's pretty cool. Lincoln Logs are pretty fun. Hornby, who invented Meccano, was kind of more famous for model trains anyway. Ah, okay. I love my model train. It was my grandfather's, my Morpher. I haven't busted out in a while. It used to sit behind me. If you guys remember, it used to sit on one of my shelves when I was freaking moth in here. Got him. Stepping on Legos are so much fun. I mean, I think it's worth it. I will step on some Legos if it's worth playing Legos with my kid. You know? Where'd you get the spinning UFO? I stole it from Tim Pool. I think he bought it off of an Instagram ad, like a fool. Yeah. Yep. I didn't buy it. Yeah, I don't buy things from Instagram ads. Granted, I haven't been on Instagram in like maybe 2 years because uh it won't let me on. I know my password, but it won't let me without my old telephone, which I don't have anymore. I'm not even going to respond to that squiggles, but that was pretty funny. Technically, I just responded to that. Anyway. So what's happening today in the world of politics, huh? What do we got going on? Everyone's posting e-thoughts everywhere all the time. This woman slept with 1,000 people. This woman almost beat her record of 1,000 people. Now they're pregnant. Ezra Miller put out some racy stuff. Everyone look. I hate it so much. You know, if you shame them, it's one thing. But if you just post their pictures and their names, you're giving them free advertisement. And I hate it. That's like I poked my head into Twitter earlier, X earlier, and that's all I saw. And I'm like, I don't what what the hell are you talking about? I hate it. All right, let's see. What is happening? Oh, what UFO stuff. Fake. Fake and gay. I'm depressed because I'm deprived. And whose fault is that? I wish someone would shame me. Okay, calm down. Hey mom, how you doing? Depraved, not depressed. Oh, you're depraved. I see. You're depraved because you're deprived. Okay. Let's see. Michael Moore says Trump might be deporting illegals who could cure cancer or stop an asteroid. I don't know if you've been paying attention, but most of the illegals that no, they're all criminals. Um, yeah, they're all criminals. Yeah, every single one of them. They came here illegally. I told you I'm over social media today. Yeah. How come no side scrollers appearance in a good while? Great question, Pepina. Great question. I don't know. I asked to come back and I was ghosted. It's been almost a year since I asked to come back. We'll just leave it at that. I had an interesting there it is. So I don't know how many people know who the Foundring is. He is an incredibly talented singer-songwriter slash pianist. And I'm blown away every time he plays. Yeah, his songs are funny. I know. He's shadow banned. He's been kicked off of YouTube. He's been kicked out of everything. I think he was banned from X or from Twitter. Now he's back. He had an interesting thread about financing a breakaway civilization. And I thought you might enjoy this. Where can we play games with you? Black Ops? Um, I don't know. Craig is going to be hearing about this ghosting. Okay. Yeah, tell him that you want me back on the show if you want. I'm I I still want to be co-host on that show again. I made it very clear a long time ago. I just feel like they don't want me to be co-host anymore. Um, it's sad. Anyway, where do we play games with you? I've been playing some Sea of Thieves. I've been playing some Dead by Daylight, but it's so random when I play, and I don't play for very long. So it's kind of like, yeah, I don't know. Craig has said he wants you back on. He said it last week. Well, all right. I'm still waiting. V16 says breaking Islamists clash at Columbia University. So the left goes nuts. Deport, deport, deport. Not to the UK. We're full. Yeah. Robert Wild's been having fun on Sea of Thieves. Nice. Oh, man, that would have sucked. 7 Days to Die Rebirth mod is sweet. Ooh, what's that? 7 Days to Die Rebirth mod. An archived version. I don't want that. Back to files. I just want to see. Wait. It's set to hidden. What? Oh, so you can still download it. Huh. Cool. Okay. Let's check this out. Financing a breakaway civilization. In the early 2000s, there were several scandals involving the United States bearer bonds. Were they fake? Who was smuggling them and why? Does it expose a hidden world of finance? Is this the craziest financial story of the 21st century? Stay tuned. Mystery of the fake US bonds fuels web theories. I had never heard of this. Have you guys? Have you heard of this? A bearer bond is a debt security issued by a government or corporation. No records are kept of the owner or its past transactions. Whoever physically holds the paper is the owner of the bonds. These bonds are favored by investors wishing to stay anonymous. On June 3rd, 2009, an incident occurred that's now known as the Chiazo financial smuggling case. Two alleged Japanese nationals were detained near the Swiss Italian border. They seemed to be carrying more than 200 United States bonds worth 134.5 billion. 200 worth that much? That's crazy. They identified 249 US Federal Reserve bonds worth 500 million each, plus 10 Kennedy bonds worth a billion each. Although they were indistinguishable from real ones, they were dated to 1934 when no 500 million bearer bonds were supposed to exist. Hmm. Okay, so that's just more a little more details on that. The two unidentified men were eventually released and disappeared. Why were the authentic looking bearer bonds made with such absurdly high values? Why did the bonds have a date 1934 when they could have used a year later? Why invent a fake Kennedy bond? I never even heard of Kennedy bonds. Joseph Farrell has explored this story for years. He suggests they were caught on purpose in a murky economic warfare operation, noting a few months earlier the US announced 134.5 billion remaining in TARP, the same amount as the bonds. Interesting. Successful counterfeiters. Do not counterfeit what doesn't exist. Do not counterfeit something with a comically high value. Make sure quality is obvious on site, i.e., no egregious spelling errors, and do not counterfeit something that the very wealthy do not suspect exists. That makes sense. Seems self explanatory. World War II's Operation Bernhard was the largest counterfeiting operation in history meant to copy English notes. Germany erected a hidden system of finance aimed at wrecking the British Rothschild war economy. The SS had created a counterfeiting bureaucracy. I never even heard of that. Interesting. Operation Bernhard survived World War II, at least conceptually. Breakaway civilization researchers like Richard Dolan believe industrial scale counterfeiting is the favored method of independent financing of covert research. And that makes a lot of sense. Or if you're a government and you could just print more money, what's very close in they get the job done. It's now used by the MIC, the mafia, and intelligence agencies. And shout out to Richard Dolan. The invisible financial world is something the majority of people have no idea of. The major part of this is the shadow sector of world financial system, and institutes and operations conducted under the cover of offshore and out of sight regulators. In 2003, two men were found to possess 2.5 trillion in lost U.S. Treasury notes dated 1934. Although they appeared authentic, the FDR's signature were packed in sealed tins and protected by canister of poisonous gas, and they had obvious spelling errors. Okay, so this is just a clipping of the news case about that. That's crazy. Bonds up to of 2 trillion. The Med said the bonds were recovered from a 1948 plane crash in the Philippines during a covert CIA mission to secure China's gold before Mao's communist takeover. The story checks out, as these mistakes were often deliberately made as security devices. Is one of the secret funding mechanisms of a breakaway civilization? A hidden tier of finance exists, represented by bearer bonds, uh, denominated in extraordinary amounts of money, implying that the owners of such bonds are in an elite circle of wealth, power, and knowledge. I'm just gonna quickly say, breakaway civilizations to me, when I think about that, I'm thinking of like the Atlantean Empire knowing that there was going to be an like imminent disaster, the Younger Dryas event, skirted away to live on the moon, or use their technology to sink Atlantis on purpose and live at the bottom of the ocean. So, you know, that's what I'm thinking. Look, or live down underground underneath like the Denver airport. It's like shit like that. I'm not saying that I believe that that's the the case, but when I hear breakaway civilizations, that's what I'm thinking of. This is more alluding to what I can assume is a more realistic breakaway civilization, like the people who did find a UFO and have reverse engineered it and are able to jump into wormholes and think that the general public shouldn't be privy to this knowledge. You know what I mean? And they are just advancing without the and letting the rest of the world just kind of live it out its days uh it, at a crawl when it comes to technology. Granted, technology is advancing exponentially. It's crazy, like how small chips are getting. That new chip that Microsoft just announced, they have to make it in this chamber that's the coldest ever to exist. There's nothing colder in nature, right? They have to freeze it down to like an insane amount. I don't know if you guys have seen that. I kind of want to talk about that in a little bit because it's kind of cool. Okay, let's see. In 2009, another virtually unreported bearer bond seizure occurred in Spain, totaling 1.64 trillion. The stash was linked to the Philippines and included billions in 1934 Federal Reserve bonds. Again with the 1934. Could the Philippines connection be about Yamashita's gold? What is Yamashita? Is that okay? Is that the name of this? Let's see. Here's the scam. This is what they were finding. Okay, here we go. The Philippine connection also brings to mind the gold supposedly hidden by Japanese General Yamashita, gold which in turn represents the looting of China by Japan, a potentially extremely important point in this whole narrative. So what, in like World War II, Japan, because Japan was crazy in World War II. They were taking over China. They attempted to attack America, which was obviously a horrible idea for them. During World War II, Japan hid their war loot throughout the Philippines. The American slash Western financial elite plundered it to prop up the entirely hidden system of finance for all manners of projects. Sounds like the CIA to me. The bearer bond story going mainstream shows that this structure had become unstable. I had never even heard of any of this. Have you guys? In September 2009, two Filipinos were arrested in Italy in possession of 116 billion in US government bonds. Authorities claimed the bonds had a common criminal origin. As the Chiasso incident a few months earlier, this story was barely covered at all. I wonder why, because this feels like it's a bigger a bigger deal. In 2009, I mean, Obama's in charge, coming off of the financial bubble crash. I was living obliviously my life. 2009, 16 years ago, so I was 24. Yeah, I didn't give a shit. In 2012, Swiss okay, get out of there. In 2012, Swiss authorities seized 6 trillion in bonds dated 1934. They had a value of 1 billion apiece. The suspects were allegedly planning to buy plutonium from Nigerian sources. Supposedly, the bonds pose serious threats to international finance. Notice they didn't say that these were fake. I see Chicago, Illinois there. Those are dope chests. Look at that. Wow. The certificates were signed Chicago, Illinois Federal Reserve Bank and were stored in trunks stamped with the Federal Reserve System Treaty of Versailles marks. They're obvious fakes. If they're obvious fakes, why do they pose a threat to the international financial system? It's a good question. Why would anyone bother to counterfeit such bonds in the first place? They would only do it if there was a market for them. Is there a market for large securities being secretly circulated? Is this why the 6 trillion in fake bonds was such a threat? There are similarities with the Spanish Italian incidents. Do these enormous sums of allegedly gold-backed securities imply an equally enormous stack of gold bullion? Is it related to the claims of Lord Blackheath about a huge hidden system of finance? Never even heard about that, but I'm curious. Bonds, bullion, Blackheath, and the breakaway civilization. Ooh, let's. Holy shit! Is this okay? It's not that long actually. It's just the top. Let's see. I emailed. Okay, I outlined. Okay, just more fake bonds. Just a week before the last Italian seizure, there was a similar seizure in Spain of reported gold-backed U.S. Federal Reserve bearer bonds in billion-dollar denominations. This makes at least 3 such stories of seized bonds, which, reassured by our oh so truthful government, are entirely faked. On the rents program, I said, in effect, okay, let's look at it and accept it for the sake of argument. My argument is essentially this: that if these bonds are faked, the mere fact that we now have 3 separate instances of such enormous denominated bonds raises certain issues. Let's see, both seizures involve bonds denominated in billion-dollar increments. The bonds were, in both cases, dated 1934. They were both supposedly issued by the U.S. Federal Reserve. The bonds were somewhat backed and collateralized with gold. Finally, in both cases, the bonds were allegedly found in large Federal Reserve strong boxes. In the Spanish case, the Federal Reserve of Dallas, and then the Italian case, the Federal Reserve of Chicago. Someone had to go through a lot of trouble, but what is the point? Okay, here we go. Now, at this juncture, the reader will have noted that such an enormous sums of alleged gold-backed securities implies an equally enormous stack of gold bullion. The problem is, as Lord Blackheath of UK has pointed out, you can Google him on YouTube and see his speeches before the House of Lords outlining this problem, is that such sums exceed the officially reported estimates of available tonnage of gold mined in human history. In fact, such sums massively exceed the official estimates. In Lord Blackheath's version of the story, the vast sums of money are in the hands of a private group, which he calls Foundation X, which were being made available to the British government to expand infrastructure projects in the kingdom. Thus, even in Blackheath's version, one is dealing in effect with a breakaway group with a hidden mechanisms of finance. Okay, interesting. More gold than even we even know about. And it makes me think of diamonds, right? Because diamonds are they're shouldn't be that valuable because they're everywhere, right? Diamonds are there's planets of diamonds. Diamonds are um, all owned by one company, right? Isn't it something along those lines, right? It's manufactured their scarcity. That's why fossil fuels are called fossil fuels. Yeah, exactly. Oil, right? Same thing, right? This manufactured scarcity. Is gold the same? Is gold the similar? Like, is there just a ridiculous amount of gold that we don't know about? You know? I think you pay for the cutting of the stone mostly. Right. De Beers, that right, they're the ones, right. Exactly. They right, they control all of it. Not all diamonds are the same quality. Okay, I can see that. Right. Goldeneye was better. Okay, this is here though. The question is who is doing it? Let's see. So here's about that Japanese gold. So when and you know what? See, I also have to point out like it made an interesting point of saying in human history. mined. Now, recorded history, what about us finding gold in pyramid? What if China found just gold in pyramids in China and Japan got a hold of that during World War II? You know what I mean? Like I just who knows? I don't know. I just feel like there what if it's a previous civilization? What if it is the Atlantean Empire? What if they did mine? What if the Anunnaki did bring us here to be slaves to mine gold for them and we found pockets of gold? We found like mined gold and we were like, "Holy shit, here's all this gold." I don't know. Just throwing that out there. Okay, so who's doing it? Let's see who's doing it. Let's see who might have the knowledge of these hidden bullion stocks and secret US securities issued upon it. The answer is rather clear: the Filipinos, the Japanese, and the Chinese. Interestingly enough, most official versions of these fake bond seizure stories do indeed finger or imply some sort of counterfeiting rings in Asia as being responsible. And of course, the other possibility is some sort of fascist international. Hmm. And then we have the final question. Whoa, whoa, the final question. What are these bonds for? On the view that they're fake, then, as noted above, they couldn't exist without a market for them. Makes sense. Implying that the counterfeits are of something that actually genuinely exists. Thus, on this view, whoever is issuing the counterfeits may be doing so to send messages to the real issuers of this hidden financial structure. The message being, in effect, we know about this, we know who you are, and we can counterfeit these securities. Well, I don't know if this second, that might not be true, right? Obviously, they know about it and they can counterfeit them. Granted, they keep getting caught. I mean, are they actually making trade deals with them? Counterfeiting in Asia? No way. Right. But on the view of the fake bonds, and again, we need to ask, do we trust the official explanations? Of course not. Represent something real, then what are the real ones for? Given the vast sums involved, given the span of time involved, my conclusion on rents was that we may be looking at a hidden funding mechanism for a breakaway civilization along the lines of Mr. Richard Dolan's hypothesis. The scales of the funding would represent something requiring enormous expenditures. The only thing on that scale would seem to make sense, as I speculated on Rentz's show, is a massive effort in outer space or hidden technologies for the same. But UFOs, right? If they successfully were able to reverse engineer a UFO that they found, I'm not saying I believe this, okay? I need to see it to believe it. I don't know if I believe that. No, I don't believe it. But humoring it, this breakaway civilization, if they were if they do have a massive effort in outer space, they would need to be paying people off. They would need to be buying full swaths of land to be able to do things that no one else can find out about. If they are going to space, they need to have a place that they can have a rocket launch or some sort of launch to get into space. You know what I mean? Hmm. Let's see. Many other scenarios one might envision surrounding these alleged fake bonds and who is behind them and what they really represent. But as Jeff Rentz points out on the show, some people attempting to cash in for pennies on the dollar, which apparently was offered by the U.S. in some instances, and why such cash bonds for any amount, unless there's something behind them, end up conveniently dead. Yeah, well, I mean, you throw around that much money, the people in control can easily take you out. This story and whatever it represents is something significant for a British peer to take notice. I'm curious if V6 Neon knew who this guy was, the Black Lord Blackheath. Um, story. Okay, and the effort being expended in Italy and Spain to seize the fake securities. We all the effort. I mean, the the fact that they're doing like full cases, like this is a lie. Like, look at that. You don't go through security. Those are all bonds right there. That's kind of sketchy. Like if you're going to sneak shit through, it feels like it should be smart about it. I don't know. Not go through with trunks that say the Federal Reserve stamped on the front, you know what I mean? You be a little more smooth about it. They're like, "Hey, what's all these bonds?" You can't like fly international with like a shit ton of cash, right? Are you allowed to do that? I don't think you are. I think it's like people are like you get flagged or whatever. And with this is the same thing. They're essentially cash, right? I mean, you still have to sell them to someone. If you have a bond that's $1 billion bond, like where do you cash that in? 10K max? Yeah, exactly. Like where are you gonna turn in like, oh, let me go. Oh, I owe you. I want to buy something. Oh, let me go cash in my $1 billion bond so I can, buy a house and maybe a yacht. Okay, learned about this. Where was I? Okay, wait, hold on. I just saw Tesla. I didn't get to Tesla. The Philippines crashed. Okay. Okay, I'm going too far. Here's Blackheath. Okay, I just read that. All right, another bizarre bear bond story emerged in 2012. Although it had begun many years earlier, allegedly 12 boxes containing 300 billion in US bonds were discovered in the Philippines, again in the Philippines, supposedly in the area where the American plane crashed in the 30s. Sounds like bullshit. The bonds were sold in 2002 and examined by a firm in California. They were determined to be genuine as to date and origin, but the official position is that they are fake, but a marvelous deception, which includes counterfeit Federal Reserve boxes. Again, dated 1934. Crazy. These stories have several similarities. The Japanese version differs in that they actually received major US media attention. It also involved bonds after 1934 with no strong boxes, and the Japanese men seemed to want to be apprehended. And they were released and then, of course, disappeared, probably buried in the hills somewhere. Secret Service agent Robert Gombar says they go to great extremes, putting them in antiquated treasure chests stuffed with newspaper clippings from the 30s. Another agent says that there are only about 105.4 million in outstanding bearer bonds remaining. Million, not billion. Some of these bonds were going for billions, which is crazy. The official dismissal of these bonds as fake is overzealous. Whoever is behind the counterfeiting scheme is well financed and organized and has access to hidden information. Do the Kennedy bonds suggest connections to Black Ops slash secret space programs? Okay, we got to read that. Okay, this is also the Giza Death Star, home of the Giza community and Dr. Joseph P. Farrell. I don't know what this site is, but it goes back to 2012. Okay. Now we speculate on the implication of all these stories. As noted in previous parts of this series, there are four bearer bond stories: Japanese story, Spanish story, the Italian story, and the Filipino story from 2000, but first reported this year, 2012, in the Bloomberg article cited in the previous parts of the story or the series. Of all of these, only the Japanese version stands out as differing in three significant respects. One, it received major US electronic media attention. Number two, it did not exclusively involve bearer bonds from 1934, but also bonds dated much later, the so called Kennedy bonds. And three, it did not involve the US Federal Reserve branch bank strong boxes or chests. And the behavior of the Japanese men was such that it seemed like they wanted to be apprehended. In the other cases, we noted that the bonds were highly denominated in U.S. Federal Reserve bullion backed bearer bonds. Number two, the sums involved were in the billions and trillions of dollars, which is insane. The bonds were in strong boxes of the Federal Reserve branch banks, and the bonds were all dated to the 1930s, signed by the U.S. Secretary of Treasury Henry Morgenthau. Let's see. Um, hold on. What is he? What did he say here? Yeah. There's a lot of fluff in this. Okay, I'm just moving on. Tesla is well known, but in the 1920s, an American named Thomas Townsend Brown discovered a coupling between gravity and electricity called electrogravitics. What? I've never heard of this. Electrogravitic. That is cool. It's claimed to be an unconventional type of effect or anti-gravity force created by electric field effect on a mass. Wow, that's kind of cool. I wonder if there's like a scientific paper on this. What is SCIRP? Scientific research. It's an .org. What year is this from? 2015. Electrogravitics and electrokinetics. Yep. Okay. Back to Brown. An unexplained alignment of molecular gravitors. Brown reports that the di- dielectrics of high propulsive force, when the differently charged elements were aligned with the voltage source, perhaps electrogravitics was also revealed in the article Gravity Nullified. Quartz crystals charged by high frequency currents lose their weight. Interesting quartz crystals, huh? Which appeared 2 years earlier in the same magazine in September of 1927. The editors had a change of heart, however, in the following issue. They rescinded the article. Much of what we know about T.T. Brown is his famous or his numerous patents and articles reprinting in Electrogravitic System, Volume 1, by this author who was fortunate to correspond with him in 1981 when he was at the University of Florida. A sample of his detailed correspondence is contained out of print book. I want to know more. A new propulsion methodology. Okay, I'm gonna read into that because that's freaking cool. But the government's anti-grav tech went dark in the 50s. Did these 1930s bonds secretly fund Tesla's tech or Thomas Townsend Brown's tech? Interesting. Hmm. I'm seeing where he's going with this. In the 1950s, the Air Force was encouraging, am I on the right? Yeah. Encouraging electrogravitics, but then everything was classified. Was it funded with similarly hidden system of finance? Is it that what alleged Cybertruck bomber Matthew Livensberg meant by gravitic drones? Gravitic propulsion, right. He did say gravitic propulsion. All around the huh. Yeah, we talked about this on Forbidden Frontier. Alien Scientist has a bunch of videos on this. Cool. I'm gonna check those out. How many US bearer bonds are there really? Bloomberg says the US Treasury issued bonds up to 500 million, but the New York Times says the max was a mere 10,000. So, which is it? Was the Federal Reserve secretly printing these bonds independent of the US Treasury? I mean, I wouldn't put it past them. The Fed does what it wants. 2012 we saw uh 2012 saw one final bearer bond story as 70 billion in bonds just happened to get soaked during Hurricane Sandy. What were these bonds doing in a vault in New York? Did any include some of the bonds that had recently been seized? Who were they being held for? I was in New York during New York's Hurricane Sandy. It was crazy. Interesting. Do these bearer bond scandals mirror financial malfeasance? Rumsfeld announced 2 trillion was missing from the Pentagon a day before 9/11. Years later, the Federal Reserve announced a missing 9 trillion. The sum of the bonds in these stories is similar. Ah, interesting. Covering the tracks for that missing money. Who were the 2 Japanese men in the Chiasso bearer bond incident? Why was it the only such event widely reported in the mainstream media? Why was it surrounded by a flurry of similar bearer bonds episodes? Why were the men released? Will we see another story like it? These are great questions. So fascinating. I want to know more about the gravitic propulsion. The fact that T.T. Brown in the 20s had some sort of gravitic, what is the exact phrase again? Um electrogravitics. Electrogravitics is freaking cool. Oh wow, this is a very long paper about this. The problem with reading scientific papers like this is it gets into like, you know, the math, and at a certain point, I'm not smart enough for this shit. You know what I mean? But when it comes to the Fed, and I can only assume the CIA or maybe the FBI and whoever knows how many more black ops down in the compartmentalization of government, guaranteed there's some shit involved that we don't know about, right? I finger every counterfeiting ring I see. Funny. P6 Neon for one says if they want to chill a room or object to well below zero, get Hillary angry and to look at it. Tell her Trump is clawing back money given to her foundation by the government. That's good. Hey, Dark Helmet, how you doing? B6 Neon for one says suggest that a brave search for gold leasing. That's why there's a gold run in the Bank of England at the moment. From request to sending out takes 8+ weeks. Too many certificates, not enough actual. Hmm. Interesting. My butt reeks for five says, little ad for more work for me. If anyone wants a hidden door, Murphy door, Utah is a good place to look. Need that OT. What the hell is a Murphy door? A hidden door. What? I don't even know what that means. Murphy door, Utah. Is that like your website or something? Hidden doors. Oh. Oh, like hidden behind a bookshelf. It's actually kind of rad. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Yeah, Murphy door, right? Okay. That's pretty cool. What's up, Cole? Glad you made it. A bunko bed? A bunko bed, huh? Look up the diplomatic bag. Okay, what's that? Oh, yeah, diplomatic bags are like diplomats have a bag that no one's allowed to search, right? Is that what that is? Like a Murphy bed? Is that the one that like comes down and then goes up and hides? What's up, Yarn Witch? How you doing? How you doing? You'll never find my hidden door. That's what the you got some bear bonds back there? Huh? I'm definitely gonna read more about this electrogravitics and electrokinetics. Electrogravitic propulsion actually is the full case of this. Anti-gravity. Wow. I just want to read this real quick. Let's see. The first edited volume of this subject, Electrogravitic System Volume 1, a new propulsion methodology. The subject was introduced by reprinting Aviation Studies Ltd. reports from 1956. An in-depth electrogravitics analysis of the B-2 bomber by Paul Laviolette has been published. The second volume, Electrogravitics 2, Validating Reports on a New Propulsion Methodology, expands the historical perspective of the first volume and brings it up to date. For example, Volume 2 contains further information on the Army Research Lab and Honda Corporation experiments, as well as the electrokinetic equation discovery presented in this paper. A short review of the history of electrogravitics has recently been published by Professor Theodore Loader, a working definition based on the T.T. Brown's 1928 British patent, uh, 300,311. The gravitics situation report is electricity used to create a force that depends on the object's mass, similar to gravity. This is the answer that perhaps should still be used to identify true electrogravitics, which also involves the object's mass in the force, often with the dielectric. This is also what the Biefeld-Brown effect describes. However, we have seen T.T. Brown's and his patents evolve over time, which Tom Bader emphasizes. Later on, Brown refers to electrokinetics, that is partially overlaps the field of electrogravitics, that requires asymmetric capacitors to amplify the force. Therefore, Bader's article discusses the lightweight effects of lifters and the ion mobility theory found to explain them. Note, electrogravitics, e.g., electrokinetics, EK, are related but different phenomena that present the subject that are presently the subject of this paper. To put things in perspective, the article How I Control Gravitation, published in 1929 by Brown, presents an electrogravitics validating discovery about a very heavy metal objects, 44 pounds each, separated by a dielectric insulator charged up to high voltages. T.T. Brown also expressed an experimental formula in words which tell us that he found was directly contributing to the unidirectional force, which he discovered moving the system of masses towards the positive charge. He describes the equation for his electrogravitic force to be F, uh, whatever, Vm1m. Well, I don't know how to read how I would say that mathematically. However, the electrokinetics and electrogravitics also seem to be governed by another equation when higher order pulse voltages are utilized. The important fact from Brown's recorded experiments and lab notes is that the DC power supply was raised substantially up to 250 kV, which is substantial force being displayed starting at around 150 kV. Here, is it kilovolts? Probably. Here we get an idea of the range of voltage necessary for successful electrogravitics that even recent military contractors mysteriously disregard. An example is R.L. Talley's report, commissioned by the Air Force and concerned with exploring the Biefeld-Brown effect, which allegedly converts electrostatic energy directly into propulsion force in a vacuum environment. Space much? Mm-hmm. It was entitled 21st Century Propulsion Concept, but only tested Brown saucer design in the relatively low range of 19 kilovolts and predictively failed to produce any significant results. Let's say this is true, right? let's say that Brown actually was able to control gravity back in the 20s. That's 100 years of them knowing how to do this or understanding they can use electricity to do this. Now, if they were able to pull sorry, if they were able to pull electricity out of the air, like some people claim, Ashton Forbes, 0 point energy. I'm just saying if, right? We're making a lot of assumptions and leaps right here. If they were able to do that, and they've known since the 20s that they were able to control gravity and make very heavy metal objects float essentially by just charging it. We still don't really win wars easily. Well, the whole point of this glorified is the breakaway civilization. They wouldn't want the general public, they wouldn't want people to know that they have this technology because they're setting themselves up to survive something, right? Maybe the Adam and Eve story from the CIA is real. Maybe there is a global cataclysm that happens every 6,000 to 12,000 years that they can't stop, that they know it exists. Maybe they did find actual documentation, in Gobekli Tepe, right? Gobekli Tepe or Karahan Tepe, something where they actually found proof that, hey, yes, every 12,000 years the sun kind of burps and destroys the Earth's electromagnetic shielding, and we get blasted, and Earth resets essentially. All life resets. Okay, so this 21st century propulsion concept, um, AI says, let me just, I'll just show you what I'm reading here. The concept of propulsion in the 21st century includes various. Okay, no, 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 this is not. Exploring new propulsion. This is taking it literally and not the paper. Um, this is it. RL Tally. Advanced propulsion technologies. This book delves into various concepts, including electromagnetic field matter interactions and using an asymmetrical capacitors. Okay. That's probably a fascinating book. Huh. 1991, it was released. $140. Wow. Okay, that's pretty expensive. B69 for one says the feeling slash sensing of the toe being there, then the sensation of it being hit with a hammer, but not being able to rub or do anything about it as it's the amputated foot. I'm going to be up all night. God, that's a crazy, crazy feeling. Did it have pictures? No. No image available. Yeah, I can't imagine that. B69 for one says, remember the Germans were testing anti-gravity craft during the 30s and 40s using electricity. Maybe they were I mean, you gotta think the German scientists in the 30s were, like, the best, right? Do I support the $5 million gold visas? No. No, I talk about it yesterday. If you wanna watch yesterday's show, I read about it and give my opinion on it. Absolutely not. I do not. I think it's insane. Pay to win, and it shits on Americans that are trying to create their own businesses. Yeah. Good man. Cheers. I think there's technology that exists that we don't know about and we're not going to know about. And I think it's a shame. It wouldn't surprise me if free energy works, 0 point energy works. They just they want like the power of the planet really lies in, I guess that's a pun, in power, right? Gas and what else? Electricity, and they go hand in hand. So whoever, if suddenly the world has free energy, man, that's going to disrupt the entire economy, right? The entire planet is going to be like flipped upside down. If suddenly people don't need to pay for electricity, I mean, I have a river and I would love to friggin' use hydroelectric. I don't know how to do it. I want to figure it out. One day I will. I need someone who knows what they're doing to come and analyze my situation and like help me make a plan. Because right now I do not know what I'm doing. You know, feels like we are flipped. Well, there is certainly a change in the air right now. There's very certainly a change in the air, isn't there? So I think it's wonderful. I don't agree with everything that Trump's doing, but he's doing a lot of stuff that I do agree with. And, nobody's perfect. So send you a good one. Cool. Thanks, Nuke. I wanna see alien scientist video on the water powered car guy new. Well, I mean, there was the motorcycle, water powered motorcycle. Do you have a river through your property? Yeah, Steve. Well, technically not through my property, but my property butts up on a river that never freezes. So yeah, never gonna agree with everything exactly, you know? So I don't know if yeah, these $5 million visas are just it's just a ploy to make America money, and it's like I think it's bad in the long run. Ryan Hinnard for one says, I looked into it and they already let people buy their way in. It's way cheaper than 5 million. It's like an $800,000 investment and 10 permanent jobs. EB5 immigrant investor programs, USCIS. So Trump's is better. Okay. Well, as long as we get rid of those, I guess it doesn't surprise me that you could just pay your way in. He got killed for his water powered car. So did the motorcycle dude, didn't he? He built a micro turbine generator for 15K. Well, the problem is I can't, it's not my river, so I can't dam it. You know what I mean? You can't find it. It's in live shows. Just go to live. Yeah, I talked about it yesterday, Yarn Witch, on my show. If you wanna check it out. The money will go towards the debt. True. You wouldn't need to dam it. You just need to build a side channel. That I think I could do. Yeah, that I think I can do. A wheel would probably work, but I think I would make less um electricity that way. Oh, trust me, I know. I've watched plenty of YouTube videos on hydroelectric power. That's the issue. Altering waterways is not often accepted in a lot of places. So I think that's why a wheel might be the only option, or maybe a couple wheels, you know? I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. Well, that was cool. That's fun. That was a fun rabbit hole. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I should add it to the title, right? Because I don't even have a title. Breakaway civilization. It's kind of fun. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that thread greatly. Ooh, financing a breakaway civilization. I think that's even better. Great show. Thank you, Juan. Could also look into river turbines. You don't need to alter the waterway at all. Free floating. Yeah, but do they create enough energy though? You know, an Edison screw. Right. An intake and an elevation change is all that's needed. Pipe dropping into a wheel downstream. Yeah, every system that I've seen, none of them have the same uh, they don't have what I have, right? They all are either like a trinkle way upstream and they run like a 300-meter pipe system that adds to the pressure. They use a ram pump or I don't know, systems like that and then or I don't know, like a dam where they got a nice drop where I don't have that. So, Yarnwich for 5. Hey you, sorry for the probably silly question, but do you have a way to receive mail from fans still? Um, not at the moment, Yarnwich, but my mom is constantly saying that she could do the PO box again. Um, and maybe I should. I don't know. Um, I'm curious as to why, but the answer is no at the moment. So solar may be beneficial. No, I don't see the sun. The solar. If I put solar panels on my property, they would only work like 3 months out of the year. You know what I mean? It just wouldn't be worth it. I've never read that, no. Earth tubes, I've never even heard of that. Very cloudy there? It's not that it's cloudy, it's just I'm so far north and I'm right next to a forest, and the forest is to the south of me. So I the sun only comes above the forest line, in the summertime. In the wintertime, even when it's sunny, it doesn't I don't even get sun on my property, it sucks. Yeah. The film is awesome. That's true. What a great movie. How many acres do I have? I don't know. I think 1? I don't even know, actually. Can you see Russia from your property? No. No. No, I can't. Reading any books lately? No. You have to build a tower for panels? Yeah, that's not happening. Nicola Crigler? That's fun. Alright, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in. You guys are awesome. Appreciate your support. You're the best. I'll be back tomorrow, of course, here on The Crigler Show. Have a great night, alright? See you next time.